On January 3, 2026, in a move that has sent shockwaves across the globe, the United States military kidnapped Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Reportedly codenamed Operation Southern Spear, involved a daring pre-dawn raid by elite Delta Force operators in the heart of Caracas. The assault was preceded by a series of targeted airstrikes against military installations and communications hubs in the capital. Shortly after the flashes of explosions faded, President Donald Trump confirmed via social media that both Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, had been apprehended and were being transported to the U.S. to face long-standing narco-trafficking charges. U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi stated that Maduro will face the full wrath of American justice in the Southern District of New York.
Good morning to you, the heroic people of Venezuela, all the brave soldiers, men and women of our homeland, the true sons and daughters of Bolivar. The Bolivarian National Armed Forces informs the entire world that in the early morning hours of today, January 3rd, the Venezuelan people have been subjected to the most criminal military aggression by the government of the United States of America. Up to this very moment, the barbarity of the invading forces who have desecrated our sacred ground in the localities of Fuerte Tiuna, Caracas, the states of Miranda, Aragua, and La Guaira, impacting with their missiles and rockets fired from their combat helicopters into civilian population centers, for which we are already gathering information regarding the injured and deceased.
The administration justified the intervention by citing Maduro's alleged leadership of the Cartel of the Suns and his role in poisoning American streets with narcotics. While the U.S. administration officially cites narco-trafficking and regional security as the primary reasons for its intervention, the oil factor remains a massive geopolitical and economic driver. Venezuela sits atop the largest proven oil reserves on the planet, even surpassing Saudi Arabia. For the U.S., which is the world's largest consumer of oil, these reserves represent more than just energy. They represent long-term strategic leverage. Over the last decade, Venezuela has traded oil for billions in loans and military support from Beijing and Moscow. The US views this as a violation of the Monroe Doctrine, which seeks to keep foreign powers out of the Americas.
When the United States launched strikes inside Venezuela, it did not begin randomly. The first major target was El Libertador Air Base, the backbone of Venezuela's military aviation. Hitting this base first follows a familiar U.S. doctrine: remove an adversary's ability to see, fly, and respond before expanding operations. Located in Maracay, El Libertador is Venezuela's largest and most critical airbase. It serves as the central hub for the Bolivarian military aviation, hosting elite fighter squadrons, command units, and advanced unmanned systems. From this base, Venezuela coordinates air patrols, surveillance, and rapid response missions nationwide. The base also houses Iranian-supplied drone platforms, including the Mohajir-6, used for reconnaissance and strike coordination. By degrading these capabilities early, the U.S. sharply reduced Venezuela's ability to track incoming threats or mount coordinated air defenses. In military terms, this is about achieving immediate air dominance. El Libertador is not just an airfield, it is a nerve center. It plays a central role in pilot training, operational planning, and command and control integration across the Venezuelan armed forces. Disabling it disrupts communication between radar systems, fighter units, and ground forces across the country. There is also symbolic weight. The base was tied to Venezuela's 1992 coup attempts, making it deeply embedded in the regime's military identity. But analysts stress the symbolism is secondary. The strategic logic is clear. Without El Libertador, sustained air operations become extremely difficult. The strike came as President Donald Trump ordered military action against facilities linked to the regime of Nicolás Maduro. Venezuela has denounced the attacks as aggression, while Washington says the goal is to dismantle military capabilities, not occupy territory. Air superiority is the first step in that strategy. With El Libertador degraded, Venezuela's ability to launch, coordinate, or sustain air operations is severely compromised. Analysts expect follow-up strikes on radar sites, surface-to-air missile systems, and logistics nodes. The message is unmistakable: control the skies first, then shape everything that follows on the ground.
In Venezuela, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has declared a state of external disturbance, while the international community remains deeply divided. Russia and China have condemned the act as a violation of sovereignty, while several neighboring Latin American nations have expressed cautious support for a democratic transition. President Trump has indicated that the US will remain strongly involved in stabilizing the country and its vital oil industry during the coming months.
In response to this utterly despicable and cowardly attack, which poses a grave threat to the peace and stability of the entire region, we hereby issue our most emphatic denunciation before the international community and all multilateral organizations, demanding that the government be unequivocally condemned by the American government for the blatant violation of the Charter of the United Nations and of international law. Free, independent, and sovereign, Venezuela rejects with all the force of its libertarian history the presence of these foreign troops who have only left in their wake death, pain, and destruction. This invasion represents the greatest outrage the country has suffered, driven by the insatiable greed for our strategic resources. Far from any supposed struggle against narco-terrorism, this deplorable action definitively seeks to force a regime change and subjugate us to the spurious designs of North American imperialism, trampling upon our inalienable right. The right to self-determination, for which our liberators fought so valiantly and which today we are called upon to defend with that very same dignity. For this reason, in this most unfortunate hour, I call upon the profound courage that we inherited from our great liberators, those who taught us unequivocally that our dignity is never negotiable and that our homeland represents a value above all else. They have launched an attack against us, but they will not succeed in breaking our spirit. United soldiers and our people, we shall forge an indestructible wall of resistance. Our true calling is for peace, yet our enduring heritage is the struggle for liberty. We who always extend the hand of brotherhood, today firmly clench our fists in defense of all that is ours. Let us unite, for in the unity of our people, we shall find the strength to resist and to overcome in the midst of this imperial onslaught.
By framing the invasion as an anti-drug operation, the US gains a legal and moral justification for an intervention that is largely driven by resource security. Critics of the intervention, including leaders in Brazil and Colombia, have condemned today's actions as resource imperialism. They argue that the US is using the guise of democracy and anti-narcotics to execute a 19th century-style land and resource grab.
Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up or subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next time.